We feel good where we are right now. Like I said before, we feel, we've done a lot of things that we can, gives us flexibility, through the draft and free agency. So, for right now, we feel very good where we are. The narrative was out there of, we were tanking, and that was clear was not what we were doing. It's important to establish that culture of winning, the importance of winning, and doing things the right way. So for us, it's just to keep building upon that, and I think we had a good start at the end of the year, how we played the second half of the season, and just got to keep building from there.
Chris Grier, Dolphins general manager, regarding the transformation of the team during the 2019 season. Early on, they were tanking, and their owner had been making no bones about the fact that you got to take some lumps in order to lay the foundation for the future. And I think they just got to the point where they were sick of it. They didn't like how it felt. They didn't like how it was unfolding. Brian Flores, first-year head coach, took charge of the situation. Remember, they were going to go all in with Josh Rosen for the rest of the year. And then Flores basically said, screw it. Yeah. We're better off with Ryan Fitzpatrick if we want to win football games. And they did all right. So the question now becomes, Chris Simms, could the Dolphins actually take over the Patriots in 2020 in the AFC East, even if Tom Brady stays in New England?
Well, I don't think we're there yet. I'm really fascinated and pumped up about where the Dolphins can go. I mean, first off, I think Chris Grier was very correct there in his statement. You want to, you want to tank, to your point, but you do want to instill some winning culture and give people some confidence who might sign there as free agents that things are going in the right direction too. And I think Miami did that. They have a plethora of picks. There's no doubt about that. But we're still going into the season with Ryan Fitzpatrick. We don't know who the quarterback of the future is, and there's a lot of rebuilding to do there in Miami. I mean, they need everything. I mean, almost everything. And I'm not trying to. They need better offensive linemen. They need better pass rushers. They need help in the secondary other than Xavier Howard. This is a total rebuild. So I would say we're not there yet, Mike. Okay, now for the rest of the decade, they're going to be a challenger. Mike, the team to me that fits that mold, Buffalo Bills. That's the team I would say watch out for. But you get it, right? I mean, look at Buffalo. They were in the playoffs, as we know. They got their quarterback, rookie contract. They have a ton of cap space. We talk about the Miami Dolphins with their, 90+ million. The Bills are right around 80 million in cap space. You have that. They are very close. So, yes, they don't have the plethora of picks the Miami Dolphins have in the draft, but like if I'm the Buffalo Bills right now and I'm McDermott and Brandon Beane, I'm going, ooh, there's blood in the water. The Patriots are not the Patriots we've seen for the last 20 years. We're improving as a team. We got the QB on the rookie salary. Strike now, Buffalo Bills. Kill free agency. Get a difference maker for Josh Allen to throw to. Get a difference maker pass rusher off the edge. They can really change their team and have an opportunity here with the end of the Brady era and, Belichick coming down the final stretch here to where they could take over the AFC East and have a chance to be that dominant team here for the next few years.
The New England Patriots have won the AFC East every year since 2009. They also won it 2003 through 2007. The only year they didn't win was the year that Tom Brady suffered the torn ACL week 1 at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Bernard Pollard hit him low. He was done. They were 11-5.
Yes.
But the Dolphins, who had Chad Pennington fall into their laps after the Jets got Brett Favre and cut Pennington, the Dolphins ended up winning the division then. So it's felt inevitable that the Patriots are going to surrender that title at some point to someone else in the division, given that they didn't have a bye last year, given that they lost in the wild card round of the playoffs. Maybe that sense is strengthening. But I tend to agree with you. I think the Bills are in better shape than the Dolphins to overtake now. But the Dolphins are in a position this year with all those draft picks. If they use them and they use them well, they could lay the foundation for a team that could be very, very good years into the future, Chris.
Yeah, I think that's the big point there with the Dolphins, that things are going in the right direction. I, as you know, have great faith in Brian Flores, knowing him for a long, long time. He's tough. He's very smart. He's creative. He knows what it takes to build a football team and all the little intricacies there. And, of course, being in New England, he's seen a lot of high-level players that go, oh, whoa, okay, we need a Richard Seymour? Oh, I've seen a Richard Seymour before. I know how to find that guy. I mean, he can go down the list to get those type of guys to where, yes, this is a huge offseason for the Miami Dolphins, and they can really set themselves up for, like I said, I'm not looking at them as a 2020 Super Bowl contender, but they can set themselves themselves up for being in that conversation for 2021, 2022, and so on if they kill free agency, the draft, and all of that and get everything going in the right direction in Miami.
And one team we have not mentioned that is also in the AFC East, a team that who knows? They finished 7-9 last year after starting 1-7, 6-2 down the stretch. Are we sleeping on the Jets, Jets?
I do. I think we are sleeping on them. I don't think there's any doubt about it. They're another team. They got some things you like. Of course, got Sam Darnold. The big thing with them is they're a little bit like they need to reconstruct their O-line. They need some difference makers on their front seven. I mean, who's the guy that like F's the play up for the New York Jets? Who's the secondary guy at corner? You could say, oh, he can match up. So they have work to do. That's really where I didn't like people jumping on Adam Gase last year. That roster was nothing to write home about. And, of course, then when Mosley and Sam Darnold getting hurt, that made it even worse. So, yes, I think the Jets are one of those teams that's flying under the radar, very quiet right now, but have a lot of money to spend, too, in free agency and can change around the dynamic of their football team, too, here going into 2020.
Yeah, look, I feel like the AFC East is more wide open than it's been in years, even if Tom Brady stays with the New England Patriots, because they got a lot of work to do.
They do.
To put the talent around him to make the organization what it's been. And I like that. I like it when, hey, the Patriots had cracked the code on the entire National Football League.
Yes, they have.
And this doesn't make me anti-Patriots. They've got 6 Super Bowl championships. There are plenty of teams out there that would love to have one. So, let somebody else have a turn, New England Patriots. It's not a bad thing for there to be some parity in the National Football League. I remember back in the 70s, Chris, Pete Rozelle hated the fact that it was all Steelers and Raiders and Dolphins and Cowboys. And this is his vision, generally speaking, of what the NFL could be. But then there are the Patriots screwing everything up. 2019 was a lot closer to maybe what it could be because we saw extreme parity in the NFC. We saw Week 17 come down to the wire to determine the seeding.
Yeah.
We saw the Chiefs end up with a bye when they weren't supposed to have one. Week 17, it was determined. That's what Pete Rozelle wanted. And if the Patriots diminish just a little bit, they can still be in the mix. But if they're not dominant, that gives us that hope for every team in any given year that maybe they can be competitive. Maybe they can get to the playoffs. And anybody who gets to the playoffs, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe you can get lucky and you can run the table.
You're right. And, again, as much as I know what Pete Rozelle wanted and all those things, too, the Patriots have been good for football. I mean, it's good to have that, hate-love type team in the sport that we all want to tune in to see. Like, either we're going to see, the greatness of this dynasty or, oh, my gosh, I want to see them lose. I can't stand them anymore. I think that's kind of where everybody stands as far as the conversation with the New England Patriots. This is the crazy thing about the Patriots, though. And this is where you just don't know if they'll ever die. Because, they're in a little bit of a rebuild mode. Like you said, there's things they got to fill in. The offensive line's not real strong, right? Defense, they got some free agents there. Kyle Van Noy, Jamie Collins, they need some difference makers. The McCourty twins are getting up there in age. Stephon Gilmore not getting any younger. We know they need wide receivers. But the freaking crazy thing about the Patriots is when they rebuild, they still go to AFC championship games or go to the Super Bowl and just lose. That's what's amazing. I mean, they were rebuilding in 2009 and 10 and 11 and 12. And they were still one of the 3 or 4 best teams in football every year. That's what's amazing. And I still think even this rebuilding process right now, if Brady comes back, that they're going to be a handful in the AFC no matter what.
I wonder how much Brady's decision ultimately is influenced by whether and to what extent he believes the Patriots can still master the division the way they used to. Because that's one of the keys to getting a bye. And now there's only one bye per conference. And that's part of the calculus for me. And I think, number one, the NFC makes more sense than the AFC. But then number 2 is the West. I know we love the idea of him playing for the 49ers, but you got the Seahawks,
scary.
The Rams, you got the Cardinals. I hope.
I know you want chaos.
Jerry Jones wakes up, carpe diem, and Dak, he's trying to carpe
diem
Jerry Jones money. He's trying to carpe diem the per diem. At some point, you say enough. And I think that I can't imagine it possibly happening. It ain't going to happen.
No, it's not.
But Tom Brady is the quarterback
up.
of the
And
Dallas
Jerry,
Cowboys.
don't listen to
That's
Mike
what I
Florio,
want.
okay?
That's what I want. Do it, Jerry. Do it. Roger Staubach will let him wear number 12. Do it. Put up the picture. Do it. The Tom Brady in the number 12 jersey for the Dallas Cowboys. That would be awesome. But that's the division that I think he's got the best chance to dominate the way he's dominated the AFC East for the last decade.
Well, that's fair.
It is.
I love that. That's fair. Well, there's also an image of him running out of the tunnel in San Francisco that I know I put on my Instagram earlier this week where, it's basically Jimmy Garoppolo, but they changed the 0 to a 2 and put his face on there. So I'm sure that made Jimmy G feel really good. There it is. Oh, gosh. Poor Jimmy G. He's like, I can't get away from this freaking guy. What the hell? But to your point with the NFC East, which this is not happening. He's not going to Dallas, but you're right. I mean, any great dynasty, you really look at it more times than not, those teams came out of divisions that, were not overly competitive at the time. The 49ers, the great 49ers teams of the 80s, the NFC West at that time was not considered a juggernaut. Meanwhile, the teams in the NFC East, the Giants, the Redskins, the Eagles, and Cowboys were killing each other. Then the 49ers get to go in the playoffs fresh and feeling good while, their biggest threats have killed each other all season long. So that is part of it. And you're right. I mean, that's why I think the AFC West, no way. And the NFC West is scary too. As great as we thought the 49ers were, they were an inch away from being a 5 seed this year. And who knows where it goes. I mean, or a non-pass interference call in the end zone to go, oh, the Seahawks got the first round bye. They've won the NFC West, and now you're on the road in the wild card game, San Francisco. So that NFC West, to your point, is scary as hell with those coaches and quarterbacks there.
And the Saints would have had a bye.
Yeah.
And the Saints wouldn't have had to play the Vikings in the wild card round. And the Packers would have been the 1 seed. I mean, that one sequence.
Yes.
Where the season-ending sequence on NBC Sunday Night Football. And look at what that ultimately determined. Now, would it have changed who won the Super Bowl? Who knows? Because the Chiefs still pulled it off. But it just shows you how close it all is. And if you can be dominant, you put yourself in position to not have to rely upon a bounce of the ball or a non-call. And you just know going in, we are the team, and the Super Bowl comes through us.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.